Do you think love dies because of betrayal? Not always. Sometimes, it dies because a hand can't stop reaching for the same spot every night, or because a slice of cheese isn't welcome at the table, or maybe when the guy you thought was as gentle as a lamb knocks someone out cold for touching his shoulder. And sometimes love ends and leaves you with a $100,000 legacy and a pregnant stranger demanding a share. Welcome to Reddit Echoes, where the tiniest moments explode with emotional impact. In today's video, you'll hear a wife exhausted from being her husband's personal boob pillow, a woman who refuses to give up cheese even if she has to smuggle it in her purse, a quiet man who throws a punch so powerful it scares even his wife, and a woman torn between morality and a $100,000 payout. Listen until the end, because by the time it's over, you might be asking yourself, who's really in the wrong? Story 1. I want a divorce. Just because my husband can't sleep without grabbing my boobs, I know. Just by reading the title, half the internet is probably already yelling at me for being a cold, heartless wife. And the other half may be holding back laughter or wondering, wait, is this some kind of comic book? I'm 26. My husband is 30. We've been married for nearly 3 years, and we dated for 2 years before that. In other words, I've spent almost half of my adult life living with a man who, I'm not even kidding, cannot fall asleep unless he's touching my breasts. I'm not talking about playful fondling or some cutesy cuddling. I mean full-on boob addiction. Like my boobs are a charging station and he's an old iPhone about to die. At first, I thought it was cute. And yeah, in the beginning, it actually was kind of cute. When we first started dating, he'd whisper in my ear, I don't know why, but I can only sleep well when I'm holding that part of you. I'd giggle and think, oh boys. Classic straight guy behavior. I found it sweet, intimate, even a little weird in a way that felt special, like a boyfriend-only privilege. But that privilege quickly turned into an endless contract, and I was the primary victim. A human body pillow with a heartbeat, one that walks, talks, cooks, does laundry, and puts up with it. Every night I became his emotional oxygen tank. My husband goes to bed around 10:30 every night. I usually stay up later, cleaning, showering, finishing work. But it doesn't matter. Even if I'm not sleepy, he'll call me to bed, position me just right, and rest his hand there, rubbing, squeezing, gently fondling like some kind of pre-sleep meditation ritual. If I'm too tired and say no, he sighs like a kicked puppy, groaning softly, and says things like, "Don't you love me anymore?" People in love don't deny each other something so small. I just want to feel close to you. Sounds romantic, right? Like something out of a drama film. No, it's emotional manipulation dressed up as romance. I tried everything. Nothing worked. I suggested he hold my hand, hug a body pillow, rest his hand on my belly. Nope, not good enough. It has to be my boobs, exactly my boobs. Even when I turn my back to him, he'll wrap his arm around me and find his target. One time, I pushed his hand away and said I was tired, my back hurt, and I wasn't feeling well. He froze for a few seconds, then turned away without saying a word. The next day, he didn't say good morning. Total silence all day. So, I ended up apologizing. And that cycle has repeated itself for 5 years. This isn't just about touching, it's about disrespect. I realized that this was the only form of physical contact I still received. No hugs, no kisses, no hair stroking, no hand holding. My husband only came to me at night when he needed his sleeping pill. The last time he hugged me was on my birthday over a year ago, and it didn't stop there. He doesn't do chores. He gets off work at 5 p.m., comes home and plays video games. I finish work at 7 p.m., then cook dinner, do laundry, clean the kitchen, water the plants, feed the cats. At 11 p.m., after I just finished washing the dishes, he goes, "Can you come to bed with me? I can't sleep without you." Just 15 minutes. I'll fall asleep fast. Spoiler alert. It's never just 15 minutes. I lie there holding my body still like a wax statue, while he gently strokes my chest like he's using a computer mouse. I wait until he falls asleep, then sneak out to finish my chores or wrap up leftover work. Every single night I sacrifice sleep emotions' privacy just so I don't make him sad. And then I snapped. Last week, after a long day at work and an argument with my boss, all I wanted was to shower and sleep. But he called for me again. And when I said no, not tonight, he got mad. Really mad. What's wrong with you? It's such a small thing and you can't even do that. You just have to lie there. Why are you being so dramatic? And I yelled, yes, it's a small thing for you, but it's the last straw for me. I told him I wanted a divorce, not because of my boobs, but because I no longer feel like my body is my own. Because I've lost myself in the role of being my husband's personal relaxation tool. But no one took my side. I called my sister the person I'm closest to in my family. I want a divorce because of this. She laughed. What's wrong with you? All men love boobs. What's the big deal? I called my best friend of 10 years, I get it, but does it really warrant a divorce? So here's my question. Is there anyone in this world who actually listens when a woman says, I don't feel like I'm allowed to say no to being touched anymore? Would anyone believe me if I said I feel like an object, one that only gets used when he's sleepy and tossed aside once he's out? I'm not a robot that strokes on command. I'm a human being, and I'm exhausted physically and mentally. I don't want to hate my husband. I loved him once, but if love means offering up my body every night just to help someone else fall asleep, then I choose solitude and peace. Does thinking about divorce make me a terrible person? Am I making a big deal out of nothing? Or am I just a woman fighting for the right to own her own body in her own home with the man who once promised to cherish her? What do you think? Leave a comment. Because right now, I don't need someone to touch me. I just need someone to say, I believe you. Story 2. I brought my own cheese to a restaurant, and my boyfriend lost his mind. I have a deep, enduring love for cheese. No, I'm not joking. If you asked me if you had to choose between love and cheese, which would you pick? I'd ask back, what kind of cheese, brie, Gouda, or aged cheddar? The problem is my boyfriend doesn't share this passion. He lives by one philosophy: extreme frugality. And I don't mean smart saving. I mean the kind of saving where you sneak your own water bottle into the movie theater like you're smuggling contraband. Welcome to the financial world of the budget overlord. I'm 28. He's 30. We've been dating for 2 years. Everything's been fine until you bring up spending money at restaurants. We once nearly broke up over guacamole. I added guac to my burrito. It cost $250, and he acted like I had just bought beachfront property in Malibu. He called it a scam and emotional exploitation of the consumer's taste buds. The peak of absurdity. He started aggressively crossing out the word cheese on the menu every time I so much as glanced at a cheeseburger. So I made a plan. There's a burger joint I absolutely love, and their special melt-in-your-mouth cheeseburger that could literally bring me to tears of joy. But to add cheese, $3.50. And I knew full well that if I ordered it, my boyfriend would flip-pout through the meal and sulk for 3 hours at home like I'd betrayed him. So I did what any cheese-loving girl would do. I smuggled in 2 slices of cheese in my purse. Not a joke. I wrapped them in a napkin, sealed them in a little Ziploc, and tucked them into the wallet pocket next to my credit cards like it was my personal happiness secret weapon. The meal of destiny. We arrived at the restaurant and ordered like usual. I didn't add anything. I made no requests. When my burger came steaming hot, patty, golden bun, crisp veggies, I pulled out my wallet. I slid out the cheese as casually as if I were pulling out lip balm, placed it lovingly on the burger, closed the bun, smiled. It was a moment of pure joy, and my boyfriend looked at me like I had just wiped a slug on my sandwich. What the hell are you doing? I kept chewing. Saving $350, just like you always wanted. He reacted like I had just lit money on fire in the middle of the restaurant. His face turned red. Not from affection, from shame. You're embarrassing me. This is humiliating. What were you thinking doing that in public? I looked around. No one was watching, not a single stare. No one cared about my little cheese smuggling operation. You're overreacting. No one noticed. Honestly, you should be proud. I followed your financial principles to a T. But nope, he got even more pissed. You're being disrespectful to the restaurant, to me. You should just go vegan instead of pulling this kind of nonsense. If you don't want to pay extra for cheese, then just don't eat cheese at all. Oh, really? The man who declared war on guacamole is now offended by frugality. Who's the one refusing to spend $3.50 so I can enjoy something I love? Who's the one making me sneak cheese like I'm hiding drugs? I laughed, truly. And if you've ever seen a woman smile while putting down her burger, you know it's about to go down. You're embarrassed that I brought cheese, but you're not embarrassed that your girlfriend has to scheme penny pinch and cut out cheese just to avoid upsetting you. He had no answer. After that meal, he stayed silent for 2 whole days. Sent one text. You made me feel like a petty cheap jerk. Yeah, because you are. I wasn't trying to insult him. I picked the path of least conflict, and he still felt attacked. So now I'm asking you, was I wrong for bringing my own cheese just to avoid a fight? Do I deserve to be called tacky when the person sitting across from me never thinks to offer me even a slice of kindness? I'm not asking for a man to pay for everything. I just want to eat my damn cheese in peace. And if our love can't survive 2 slices of cheddar tucked in my purse, then maybe it's not a love worth keeping. What do you think? Drop a comment. And if you've ever brought your own salt and pepper to a restaurant, I want to be friends with you. Story 3. My husband is the quiet type, until he knocked a drunk guy out cold. I used to think I knew everything about my husband. We've been together for 6 years. I thought he was a gentle, non-confrontational man, quiet, introspective, and deep. I truly never expected that he'd punch a man so hard he passed out, started convulsing, and had to be taken to the hospital. But even more shocking than that was the terrifying truth I had to face afterward. I fell in love with someone I never really understood. My husband, the Zen god of our household. He's a big guy, 6'4", about 275 lbs, but he's never raised his voice at anyone. Even when a waiter brings the wrong bill or someone cuts in line at the grocery store, he just calmly says, "It's okay." Maybe they're in a rush. He's not into physical touch. Even with me, his wife, if I hug him too long, he'll gently pull away, give a sheepish smile, and say, "I love you." But my body just can't handle long hugs. And I accepted that, because he was thoughtful, warm in his own way. I saw him as a rock-solid, dependable calm. Until that night at the party, it was a normal evening, until a drunk guy showed up. One of my husband's old friends threw a small get-together. Maybe 10-12 people, light snacks, a few beers, soft music. Everything was chill until one of the friends of a friend showed up late and absolutely wasted. This guy, let's call him Steve, was almost as big as my husband. Broad-shouldered, beer-red face, loud as hell. From the second he walked in, he was shouting like we were in a bar, slapping people on the back and the butt like we were all lifelong bros. And I saw it, my husband's entire body tensed up the moment Steve entered. Steve got friendly. In the worst way. He kept putting his arms around people, patting backs, being obnoxiously friendly. When he got to my husband just calmly raised a hand. "I'm good, thanks. No need to shake hands." Steve chuckled. "Oh, come on, man. Don't be shy. We're all bros here." And he reached out, hand landing on my husband's shoulder. I saw my husband's entire expression shift. His eyes darkened, jaw clenched, breath quickened. "Seriously, don't touch me." His voice was low, firm, the kind of voice that makes a whole room go quiet. But Steve didn't speak warning. He went in for a full-on bro hug, and then boom. I was just a few steps away. I didn't even see it happen. I just heard a thud, then a crash. Steve was on the floor, unconscious, not moving. Then he started convulsing, frothing at the mouth, Someone screamed and called 911. My husband stepped over Steve's body like a ghost. Walked out to the porch, sat down on the wooden bench, lit a cigarette, and stared into the distance. I ran after him, shouting, "What the hell did you just do? Do you realize how serious this is?" He didn't look back. He just said, "I warned him." He didn't listen. I slept on the couch for 2 nights after that. I couldn't look at him the same. The man I knew, the quiet one, the gentle one who made me soup when I was sick, had just sent someone to the ER without blinking. I asked if he felt guilty. He said plainly, "No. I don't hit people for no reason." I warned him. He ignored me. I'm not some display piece people get to grope, and I felt like I was living with a glacier that had learned to speak. But then I realized I never really knew him. The next morning after I'd cooled off, we sat down to talk. I hugged him. Yes, he didn't pull away. And I asked, "Is something going on with you?" He was quiet. For a long time. Then he opened up his father used to beat him every day when he was a kid. Not just slaps, we're talking power chords, chairs, thrown kicks to the back. When he got older and fought back, his father turned on his 12-year-old younger brother instead. And one day he almost killed his father in a fit of rage. After that, he ran away with his brother, cut off all contact with his family. He built a quiet shell around himself, because if he wasn't quiet, he was afraid the monster inside would come out. And Steve, the drunk, clueless party guest, became his father in that moment. A loud, invasive man, ignoring boundaries, ignoring warnings, and my husband's body reacted before his brain could stop it. He's not proud of the punch. He's not making excuses. But he said he felt ashamed that I looked at him like he was a monster, and I felt like an idiot for never asking, "Have you ever been hurt?" The aftermath. Steve regained consciousness. He declined to press charges. The police came, talked to both of them, determined both sides were at fault, and closed the case. My husband apologized to me but stood firm. I never touch anyone unless I've been pushed to the edge. I hugged him and cried my eyes out. And he cried too. For the first time in 6 years, I saw him let go, no mask, no wall, just a man trying to heal. And here's what I've learned. Sometimes the person you think is cold and emotionless is really someone who's been hurt so deeply they don't know how to show feelings anymore. And the person who scares you might be someone who's afraid of themselves. What do you think? Have you ever met someone like that? Leave a comment, I want to hear your story. Story 4. My ex died and left me $100,000 in life insurance, and his pregnant girlfriend wants me to hand it over. I never thought I'd get a call telling me that the man who once betrayed me had died. Even more unexpected that the money he left behind would put me in a situation where I'd be called the bad guy, just because I refused to play the selfless saint everyone expected me to be. He and I were everything to each other. We were together for 7 years. We grew up side by side, graduated together, got through hard times together. 2 years ago, we got engaged. People used to call us couple goals. At the time, preparing for married life, we did something many mature couples do. We took out life insurance and named each other as the primary beneficiary. It was a way of committing to our shared future. We chose a modest amount, $100,000. Not enough to be greedy, but enough to feel secure if something ever happened. Then he cheated on me. 6 months before the wedding, I found out he was cheating. Not a drunken mistake. Not a one-night slip-up. This was an organized, planned affair with phone passwords, secret messages, and whispered promises to her. Promises that used to belong to me. I was devastated. I cried. And then, I forgave him. Because 7 years isn't easy to throw away. Because I still loved him. Because I was naive. I thought, maybe I hadn't been good enough. Maybe this would be the wake-up call that changed everything. I tried to believe that. But then he left me for her. 2 months before the wedding, he ended things with a single sentence. I don't think we should keep going. I've made a different choice. That was it. No real apology, no regret in his eyes. I collapsed. I honestly thought I might die from the heartbreak. My friends had to drag me out of the house, force me to eat, to sleep, to survive. A year later, I got a strange call. Life slowly started to come back together. I found a new job, got a pet, and began learning how to love myself again. Then last week, his sister called me. Her voice was shaking. I'm so sorry, but he's gone. There was a sudden accident. I just wanted to let you know. I was stunned. Even with all the resentment, I had never wished for him to die. I thought I'd feel relief. But no, I just felt hollow. Then a few hours later, I got a second call from the insurance company. Congratulations, you're the legal beneficiary. The $100,000 payout will be processed shortly. I froze. He had never changed the beneficiary. After the breakup, I updated mine, but he didn't. And now legally, that money is mine. No disputes, no signatures needed, no approval required. But then, she showed up. The woman he left me for. She started texting, then calling, then texting again. I know he never changed the beneficiary. But I'm pregnant with his child. I don't have a job. I have nothing. Please, don't keep that money. And honestly, she's not wrong. I'm the ex. She's the current partner and the mother of his unborn child. A part of me started to wonder, does keeping this money make me a terrible person? But then I asked myself, who left? Whom I didn't steal anyone. I didn't cheat. I didn't cancel a wedding to chase someone else. I just survived. He had a full year to update his policy, a year to plan for a baby, a new relationship, a different life. He didn't. And you know what? I don't think he forgot to change it. I think he chose not to. Maybe somewhere deep in his so-called new happiness, he still knew. If something happens to me, the one person who truly deserves this is the woman I betrayed. I don't believe he forgot. I believe he left it. And now the same woman who blew up my life, who wrecked 7 years of love and history, is telling me to do the right thing. Funny. Because when I begged him to stay, who did the right thing for me, I'm still thinking. I'm not out for revenge. I'm not heartless. I know the baby isn't at fault. That child didn't choose this. It doesn't know the pain its parents caused. And maybe, just maybe, I'll put aside a portion of that money for the child. A portion, not for her, but for an innocent life that shouldn't suffer for adult choices. But the rest, that's mine. No one gets to demand that I sacrifice just so they can feel like I'm being noble. I already sacrificed 7 years. I already lost everything once. This time I'm keeping the one thing he left me. Not love, not closure, just a decision he never got around to changing and maybe never even meant to. So, what do you think? Am I a bad person? Or am I just someone who was left behind and is finally choosing to stand up and hold on to what's rightfully mine? Some stories make you angry, some make you laugh, and some make you take a hard look at yourself. Would you be willing to give up someone's peaceful sleep just to reclaim your own? Would you dare to unwrap your cheese in public when someone squeezes the comfort out of you with a price tag labeled morality? And if someone who once shattered you accidentally left you a fortune, would you forgive them by handing it over, or would you keep it as your final goodbye?